Welcome back, everybody, as we kick off this week with another Mindful Monday. So many of you are familiar with Nourish My Soul and all of its programs. But for those of you who are not, I wanted to let you know some of the things that we do to put this Mindful Monday in context for you. So Nourish My Soul has programs based around food and food education and food justice for ages 5 all the way up to adult. And one of our programs is called From the Ground Up, and that is a youth leadership program. So not only do we focus on food justice issues, but we also build strong leaders. And in order to be a strong leader, you need to have a strong sense of self. So we really work on exactly what our students need in order to build that, so that we feel that that's the best way to change our world, right? If we change our future leaders and we give them the tools that they need to be effective leaders, compassionate leaders, thoughtful leaders, kind leaders, then we're changing the world. And one of the things that I have noticed that really stands out to me over the years, we have had a pretty even mix of male and female go through our programs. And we always start off every single meeting, which we meet weekly, and every meeting starts with a thought-provoking question that kind of builds community, it builds trust, it builds the ability to be vulnerable with one another, and to build that strong relationship. So as we progress through the year, the questions ask them to become more and more vulnerable with their answers, as long as they feel comfortable with it. And something that I have been noticing is when we ask questions about their success, what are they most proud of? What are some characteristics that they love about themselves? Questions like that. It's really easy for them to talk about somebody else, but when it's talking about themselves, they really struggle with this. And at first I thought it was just being modest. And then I started to realize a trend over the years where especially our female participants really cannot identify those parts of them that are innately good. And they really need a lot of help and prompting and time to reflect on that. So this is something that I've really worked on, and I hold them to finding those qualities, and we continually revisit that until it becomes comfortable for them. Because I think it's really important for girls to be able to walk into a space confidently and to know their worth. Right? Like that's important for all of us, but for some reason, we are not doing that with our girls. So this week, I wanted to focus on that with our Mindful Monday and ask you, are you confident in yourself? Are you able, if I were to be in conversation with you right now and ask you to identify 3 things that you really love about yourself, would you be able to do it? Can you find those 3 things? So I challenge you this Mindful Monday to ask yourself that question. And if it takes you more than a minute to come up with 3 things that you love about yourself, then I think it's time that you sit down and really focus on this. We can't be our best self out in the world if we are not loving ourselves first. It's like that oxygen mask, they tell you to give yourself the oxygen mask before you're able to help somebody else. It's the same idea. We have to fully love ourselves and not rely on someone else telling us what's innately good, but actually feeling it for ourselves. What is it that we love about ourselves? Because if you really can't find something, then you've got a lot of work to do in making yourself the best version that you can find those things that you love about yourself. And I'm not saying that this is only women that need to work on this, because I think it's both. And if you are a parent out there, I challenge you to routinely ask this question of your children and hold them to it. Help them find those things. Don't feed them the answers, though, because this needs to be something that they love about themselves. Not that you love about them, but that they truly love about themselves. And build on that, right? So, maybe it's once a month they identify 3 new things that they really love about themselves, right? That at the end of the year, that's 36 things. I think we should be able to find 36 things that we really love about ourselves. I would hope we could. So when I started noticing this trend with our students, I started doing the work myself. And I did struggle with it at first, I think. Especially finding more than those, initial 3 things. But I've found a lot of really cool things about myself when I really sat and reflected on it. And it continues to build. And if I come to an impasse where I can't think of anything else, then I think of the qualities that I would like to be saying about myself, and I build those into, and that becomes my work. My mindful work is building those in so that I can honestly say that that's something I love about myself. I think it's really important right now for all of us. It's interesting that we are all in isolation right now. We're kind of separated from our normal social interactions. And so we have this time to kind of reflect and build on our inner world. So I hope you take advantage of this challenge and that you utilize it for yourself and for your loved ones. If your child is struggling with it, I think, having those conversations and making sure that you are mindful in how you compliment them. Don't make the compliments superficial. Make sure that you really, this goes back to like our gratitude conversation a few weeks ago, you really express that gratitude for those things that are meaningful in a meaningful way, not just, hey, thanks for doing the dishes. It can be, you know what? I really appreciate that you took the time and you were thoughtful enough to go and do the dishes because you knew that I was struggling. That takes a really compassionate, caring person to do that. And I'm so grateful that you are that person. Making those interactions a little more genuine, thoughtful, and meaningful will help your child to build that piece of self-love a little easier. So let's be mindful in how we love ourselves and how we translate that love to others so that they can find their self-love as well. So that's all I have for you this week for Mindful Monday. And tomorrow, be sure to tune in for our Talk to Me Tuesday. We have a great episode that I can't wait to engage in conversation with you about. Janine is going to be back to talk to us. So it's a really good one. And until then, have a great day and practice some self-love.